Practicing gratitude is easy when everything's going your way, but the real challenge is learning to be grateful when life isn't going your way. A lot of people on the spiritual path secretly struggle with this popular idea that we need to practice being grateful. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what to do when you just can't seem to access gratitude. Stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Lisa Engles-Witter, and welcome to my channel where I help spiritual seekers just like you to harness the ancient wisdom of yoga to live an extraordinary life. The goal of my channel is super simple. I just want to make it easier than ever before for anyone to find happiness and fulfillment in their everyday life by using what has already been passed down to us for millennia by the wisdom masters. Now, maybe the biggest challenge that I experience with my clients when they come to me is that they find themselves stuck. They're repeating the same lessons over and over again in their life. And most of them are frustrated and at a loss because they've already done years of the work. They've done their therapy, they've done their coaching, they've gone to the workshops, they've done their spiritual practices, but they still struggle with the same unhealthy relationships, or they feel like they should be further along in life than they are right now, personally or professionally or spiritually. So if you can relate to that, then I invite you to head over to www.karmic-warrior.com to grab my free report on why you keep getting handed that one lesson in life, even if you've spent years doing the work. And in this free report, I reveal to you the secret to harnessing the law of karma, not the law of attraction, the law of karma, to finally break free of that one lesson so that you can live a freer, fuller life right now. And I put the link in the description below. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the little notification bell if you haven't already, because I make videos and I post them, ones just like this, on a regular basis. As I mentioned in the intro, practicing gratitude is really easy to do when things are going your way, but not so much when things aren't going your way. A lot of people that I talk to who are on the spiritual path really do struggle secretly, honestly, with this idea that they need to be grateful all the time and they need to do their gratitude journal all the time. And oh my gosh, I'm not feeling grateful. So then they start to feel guilty or shame that they're not feeling grateful. And while in theory, this practice of gratitude, it does seem like it should be easy enough. The truth is that at times in our life, it's really hard to tap into gratitude. Anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, all of that can completely block our ability to feel any type of gratitude. And worse, if we try to feel gratitude when we're feeling these types of feelings, it can lead us down a really, really dark road, and we don't want to go there. So what's the best way to deal with this situation? Should you just tough it out and keep trying to over and over again until you feel grateful? Or is there another way? Is there another option, a better option maybe? Yes, there is. There is a better option. Here's the thing. It is normal to not feel grateful. In fact, it's not just normal, it's okay to not feel grateful all the time. You're human, I'm human. We don't feel grateful all the time. So I want to just give you in this video 3 things that you can do when you're not feeling grateful. And number 1 is simply to accept the fact that you're not in control. Nope, you're not in control. The truth is, we can't force ourselves to be grateful. We simply have to let go of the idea that we have control over our experiences. In other words, we need to stop struggling and start allowing. When we struggle to feel grateful, we're struggling to control the truth of what we're experiencing and what's alive in us right now. And the yogi, the karmic warrior, immediately recognizes that struggling to control things is a losing battle because it only makes matters worse. I'm sure you've had this experience before. Trying to control things brings pain, it brings suffering, and it increases actually our resistance to the situation that we're facing in that moment. On the other hand, when we surrender to what's happening in the moment, we're simply allowing things to unfold and trusting that things are exactly as they're supposed to be. So this, of course, doesn't mean that we sit around and we do nothing. It simply means that we stop fighting the current of life. We stop fighting what is true and alive in us right now, and we flow with it. And guess what? When you do that, that's when the magic starts to happen. That's when the little seeds of gratitude will start sprouting and the blooms of appreciation will begin to open up for you. Okay, so that's number one, just recognizing that you are not in control of your experience. Number two is to notice when your gratitude is connected to how well your life is going. So we need to recognize something that wisdom teachers have been telling us forever, really, that happiness isn't the result of our external circumstances. I know I'm not telling you anything new, but I'm just reminding you. We all know that happiness can't come from our external circumstances, and yet we forget that somehow. Somehow we forget that truth. So even though I'm telling it to you now, you've probably forgotten it over time. It's like, oh yeah, right, I know that one. Well, let's do something about it. How often has it happened to you where you're anxious about something? Maybe you're anxious about getting a job that you just interviewed for, right? Or maybe you're thinking that, oh my gosh, if only I landed this job, my life would be so much better. I'd have a regular paycheck, I'd be able to get out of debt, I'd be able to build my resume, whatever it is, right? This is really common. I mean, we all have these types of experiences. We have hopes and wishes, but the truth is, our external conditions and things that are happening in our life, they are important, right? They're not going to be sufficient in creating happiness because the nature of reality is that our circumstances are always changing. There's always going to be some type of change. So if you're happy today, what happens when your circumstances change tomorrow? For most people, they're stuck on this roller coaster of ups and downs because they're grasping for happiness in their outer circumstances. And when our happiness is attached to our outer circumstances, it's very common for our gratitude to also be attached to our outer circumstances. So when we're happy, it's easy to access gratitude. When we're not happy, it's not so easy to access gratitude, right? Can you relate to that? So what you need to do is when you notice that your gratitude is being affected by whether or not you're happy, just go ahead and take a moment to acknowledge what's happening. That's it. Just acknowledge what's happening in the moment. And then from that place, can you find a part of yourself, even if it's just a little tiny part of yourself, that can be grateful that you've just had this insight about yourself? So I want you to start there, and I bet that you'll begin to experience some really big shifts when you do that, okay? So last thing, number 3, is to feel what you're feeling right now. So this just goes along with number 1 and number 2 that I've already talked about. So it all comes down to this. It's extremely rare to feel grateful 100% of the time, or even to be able to access gratitude 100% of the time. So don't punish yourself for it in those times when you can't access gratitude. There's no use in it. Instead, allow yourself to feel whatever is alive in you right now without trying to make it any different than it actually is. Welcome whatever you're feeling instead of trying to force yourself to feel grateful. Welcome that anger, welcome that sadness, welcome that disappointment, and just let it be there. In yoga wisdom tradition, there's this idea that that we need to digest our emotions. And when we repress our emotions or when we deny our emotions, they get stuck in us, in our energy body, and they create what are called samskaras. And these are impressions of past experiences that are stuck primarily because of emotion. And we haven't allowed that emotion to be in us, and we haven't allowed it to be digested. And when I say digested, in yoga tradition, they really do mean digested. Part of that emotion will get absorbed into the energy body, and whatever part of that emotion isn't needed will get excreted or released from the energy body, just like food does. So in the same way that we can digest food, we can digest emotions. So when you're feeling this way, just allow whatever is alive in you to be there without trying to figure it out or without trying to change it in any way. Just allow yourself to be aware of what's there. And then what will happen, I guarantee you, what will happen over time is that some space will be created because you're not full of that emotion. Some space is created for gratitude to be held side by side with that challenging feeling. This takes a little bit of practice, but it is something that you can do, and it is a very real solution and very good solution when you're not feeling all that grateful. So when you consistently do these 3 things every time you don't feel grateful, you're going to begin to cultivate an environment within yourself that allows you to experience more gratitude. All right, so I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your questions in the comments below. I read all comments, I respond to all comments. And also, as a reminder, be sure to head over to karmic-warrior.com to download my free report where I reveal to you the secret of harnessing the law of karma to finally break free of that one darn lesson so that you can live a freer, fuller, happier, more joyful life right now. Thank you so much and take care. Stay safe, stay well, and namaste.